Hey, what's up, guys? Today's video, I'm going to be talking about things to do before you walk into the recruiter's office. You know, if you're thinking about joining the Army, for example, that's my branch. So everything I say is from the Army experience. But you know, just don't just walk into a recruiter's office unprepared and unsure what you want to do. You know, it's kind of making their job a little harder. You know, when you walk in, you want to be confident and have an idea of what you want to do before you sign anything, you know. um, One thing I would stress about doing before you go into the recruiter office is try to study a little bit on the ASVAB, because before they even like sit down and talk to you, they're gonna be like, okay, let's see what you score first. You know, let's see how smart you are. You know, so don't take it blindly, like, oh, I haven't been in high school since like, I don't know, since 2007. It's been like what, 10 years, 20 years, you know what I mean? Don't do that. You know what I mean? You don't want to get a low score, and then they start treating you like you had a low score. It's like, oh well, there's only so much you can do, bud. You know, like you might just have to be sweeping and mopping the next 4 years is what it's looking like. You know, so try to look up some videos. That's what I did too. There's like these good YouTube videos of how to prepare for the ASVAB. They're pretty good actually. Like when I took the ASVAB, or like I took the PICAP, and the questions that were on those videos, they really were like kind of the exact same on the PICAT. Even when you take like the practice, I took the practice PICAT, they like signed me up as like someone else. You know what I mean? Like a John Doe, and like I took the real PICAT, and then I actually verified it like the next day or something. And that too, you could do that too. Just memorize the questions. You know what I mean? When you get, I'm telling you, but like as soon as you get, I wish I would have done that. Was just as soon as you get home, write down all the questions you remember. Like try to look up like similar questions, so that way you could practice on those. So that way you can get a better score. And in case y'all didn't know, the better score, the better your job is. You know what I mean? So like, let's say you want to like, I don't know, deal with like helicopters and stuff and like fly them, or like, you know, or deal maintenance with them. You know, like you need a pretty high score to be doing stuff like that. And if that sounds really cool to you, I would suggest, you know, taking it seriously and start studying a little bit. Cause it's literally your career path. You know, you're gonna be doing this the next 4 years, so you better do something you want to do. And speaking of that, you know, like I would actually do some research, like what you want to do with your life. You know, some people think joining the military is like a backup plan. Oh, I'll just do whatever they tell me to do. Like, nah, man, like build for your future. Like do something that you would want to do outside the military. You know what I mean? Let's say you like cars, be a mechanic in the military, and when you get out, you'll be a mechanic. You know what I mean? Or like medical, engineering, intelligence. You want to be a spy or something for the government, do intelligence. You want to do engineering after, you know what I mean? Like, because this stuff transfers to your civilian life, you know, like you don't want to just be in like a combat role. I forget what they're called, but you know, you want to be in a combat role and then come back into the real world. It's like, okay, well, nobody needs to kill anybody, so it's just like, well, what do I do now? And then you find yourself at a bottom, you know. So just think about it. You know, how long are you willing to commit to doing something? You know, you don't want to just pick sweeping. You don't want to sweep and mop for 4 years straight from 5 a.m. to 6 p.m. You know what I mean? You don't want to just do that. And one thing I would say that nobody really talks about is how long it actually takes to join now. You know, I did this stuff in December 11th, 2025. Buddy, I'm not shipping out until May 18th, 2026, bro. You know, I thought, oh, as soon as I signed those, I was like, oh, I hope I stay for Christmas, because I did it in December 11th. I was like, I hope I can stay for Christmas. Dude, I'd stay in here for like another couple of months, about half a year, you know what I mean? I was like, that's crazy. I was low-key just trying to ship off, but I'm kind of glad I didn't, you know? One thing that's important too is just spend time with your family, man. Like you might think, oh, it's whatever, I'll see them whenever. It's just like, nah, man, you know, like take those moments. You know what I mean? Relax a little bit. I know, because that's how I felt. I was like, oh, I'm ready. You know, I want to join now. I'm doing this now. Like, I'm 100% into this. But then given this time before I ship off, like, it really made me, like, back up a little bit and, like, you know, think about, like, how others feel and, like, things that are, like what my future's looking like. Like, it really gave me time to just sit back and think. Yeah, you don't ship immediately. That's one thing. Then there's MEPS. You know, MEPS takes a little bit. You have to schedule that like a couple weeks or like maybe a week before. You know, so that takes a little bit of time. Paperwork. There's gonna be a lot of paperwork, but if you're not, you know, I have 6 months to do paperwork, so it's like it's not that. I literally got all my paperwork done like maybe like in a month. Like it's not that bad. And background checks, that doesn't, you don't really got to do nothing. All this is really just for your recruiter. You know, you're just gonna be there just signing. You know what I mean? And that too. It could, because for example, me, the reason I'm like some of my people that I went to MEPS with, they're shipping out in April. You know, that's like the normal time. But for me, I'm shipping out in May because I chose a medical. I chose combat medic. So that's like in civilian, that's like a EMS. You know what I mean? That's the people in the ambulance. Yeah, so I have to wait like a couple months. I was able to get a slot, man. When I was at MEPS and I was with the army people, whatever, like the people that are calling to get jobs and all that. And he looked in the computer like that and he was like, "There's not a job for you, bud. I'm sorry." And I was like, "Oh, but my recruiter said there would be. Can you please call the Rock?" I guess like the Rock's like I guess it's like a station or something where like where all the jobs and like all like kind of like think of it like a marketplace or something. You know what I mean? It's like jobs. You know, either you're gonna get it or you're not. Oh, you're gonna get it. Oh no, you lost it. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. And and he was like, "Go to lunch and I'll see what I could do. Make some calls." Came back from lunch. I was shivering in my boots. You know, my heart was thumping. I was like, "Dude, this is what I want to do. I don't want to do nothing else, right?" You know, I was kind of stubborn about that. And then he looked at me and he was like, "Sorry to tell you, I got you the job." I was like, "Oh, dude, why'd you do that?" You ain't got to do me like that. You know what I mean? Yeah, my heart dropped for a second. So yeah, dude, like you could also be in a delayed entry program where like your job might take like a couple years. For example, in the Navy, I think there's like, or even the Navy and the Air Force, it's like a 2 or 1 year wait, man. Like that's why I joined the Army, because Navy couldn't promise me a spot. And also the way you want to think about it too is like, do you really want to sit there and do nothing for a year? You know, that's why I wanted to ship out as soon as I got done, because I was doing college a little bit before. I was finishing my associates, and then I was like, well, shoot, like I don't want to just waste this spring of 2026 doing nothing. You know, like I'm ready to ship out. Well, here I am. You know, just waiting. So that too, like if you know, like in your surroundings, you can't wait another year, you might just have to switch jobs or something. But then again, if that's what you want, man, you want to wait for it. You gotta go ahead and wait. And one thing too, before you even ship off, I should say, not before joining, is just like kind of get yourself in order before you even go into the recruiting office. You know what I mean? Like figure your stuff out. Don't let them figure it out for you, because they don't know who you are. They don't know what you've been through. You know what I mean? Like save up some money. You know what I mean? Fix your sleep schedule. Start training. You know what I mean? Start to get that mind right. You know what I mean? Because don't let the Army. You know what I mean? Like think about it. Those guys were in your shoes, or some of them were not so long ago. So do you really want them to like fix your life for you? You know what I mean? Kind of do it on your own a little bit. You know what I mean? Fix yourself up a little bit. Start eating right, working out. You know what I mean? Working, get on that grind a little bit. You know what I mean? Fix your stuff out before you let the Army do it. You know what I mean? You know, joining the Army is pretty serious, especially like now. Currently in this video, March 4th, 2026, Iran, the United States is going on right now. You know, it's looking a little serious right now. 4 U.S. deaths, I believe, already. Rest in peace, those soldiers. Thank you for your service. You know what I mean? You know, treat it like a life decision, not really just like a backup plan, because this is your life. You know what I mean? Like, this isn't just, oh, well, I guess I'll just do this now because I couldn't do anything else, you know? So just make sure you're prepared before you sign, you know, and, you know, get stuff right before you sign up. It'll help you walk in with more confidence and be less confused, you know what I mean? Do some research, man, you know what I mean? Do some research. That's what I did. But yeah, that's all I got for this video. Thank y'all for watching, you know what I mean? And see y'all next time.